Hello and welcome to Primetime News.
Newsfirst at 9.
Hello and welcome to Primetime News, live from the Newsfirst Centre here in Colombo. I'm Madhushka Balasuriya.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Before we go into your stories in detail, let's take a look at the headlines.
Headlines on Newsfirst at 9.
President Rajapaksa on an official visit to Jordan, Israel and the state of Palestine. Inmates at the Bogambara prison continue their hunger strike. Demonstration staged obstructing the Ratnapura-Denia road, demanding the roads in the surrounding areas be renovated. Water scarcity reported from several areas. Department of Irrigations attributes the lack of water to limited rainfall.
Newsfirst at 9.
The hunger strike staged by a group of inmates at the Bogambara prison continued today as well.
It has been reported that the discussions held with regard to their demands have failed.
28 inmates at the Bogambara prison, including several death row prisoners and several prisoners who have been sentenced to life in prison, commenced a hunger strike atop a building of the prison complex. They demand that their sentences be relaxed. The inmates also charge that they will not give up their hunger strike until their demands are met. Some placards held up by the inmates leveled a charge against the cabinet minister. Commissioner General of Prisons Chandraratna Pallegama speaking in the Newsfirst said at present the prison sentences of inmates who serve life sentences will only be taken up for consideration after they serve at least 20 years in prison. He added that earlier the sentences of prisoners who served nearly 10 years of their sentence were commuted, taking into account their good behavior. The Commissioner General of Prisons went on to note that the death sentences will not be commuted. Meanwhile, Minister S.B. Disanayake, addressing an event in Udunura, commented on the charges levelled against him by the inmates.
There is a part of truth in there. The 5 persons who are imprisoned over the Kottame incident in Walapane are 100% innocent. Even the chief incumbents of the temples in the whole of Norelia say this. I placed my signature in the letter of pardon. Minister Navin Disanayake, Thunderman, C.B. Ratnayake also placed their signatures. What is most important is that all the United National Party provincial councillors also said that they are innocent and they too signed a plea and sent it to the president. That is why their death sentences were commuted. We are working to get them released because they are innocent.
The
Commissioner General of Prison said that construction is still underway at the Dumbara prison, which will replace the Bogambara prison. Speaking to Newsfirst, the Commissioner General of Prison said that if the inmates give up their hunger strike, discussions could resume.
The Secretary to the Minister of Justice and the Secretary to the Minister of Prisons, together with the Commissioner General of Prisons, have been appointed to look into the demands made by these inmates. I believe that they will stop this immediately because discussions are also underway, led by the Director of the prison.
Meanwhile, a demonstration was staged at the Buthkanda junction on the Ratnapura-Denia road.
The demonstration was staged to call on authorities to repair the dilapidated Buthkanda Ambilipitia road that runs through Dambagaha Tanna, Buthkanda Vatta, Kapukanda and Madwanwala areas. Our correspondent said that the locals staged this demonstration at around 5 this morning. Demonstrators felled nearby trees and placed them on the road, obstructing vehicular movement on the road. Officers from the Kolonna, Panamura and Ambilipitia police stations arrived at the location and held a discussion with the demonstrators nearly an hour after the demonstration began. Our correspondent said that the demonstrators did not agree to call off their demonstration. At around 1:30 this afternoon, Minister of Public Administration and Home Affairs, W.D.J. Sinivaratna, arrived at the location. The roadblocks were removed with the assistance of the police. The minister then held discussions with the demonstrators.
මේ ජනවාරි 15 පටන් ගන්නවා කියලා. එතකොට ජනවාරි 15 අර ABC නැවත අතුරලා මේ වැඩ
The demonstrators dispersed after the minister promised that construction work on the road will begin by the 15th of this month.
The Department of Irrigation notes that the water has become a scarce source in many areas due to the lack of rain.
Yes, the lack of rain has had a huge impact on the farming communities in the country.
Farmers from the Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa and Ampara districts have been severely affected by the scarcity of water. They point out that their farmlands are at risk of being destroyed as a result of this.
If the remaining water is not provided wisely, we will face a far worse situation in the next season. We have spent everything that we have. If we don't receive water this time around, we will have to suffer and die in hunger.
Farmers charge that at a time there is a water scarcity, the release of water for farmland is not being managed properly.
There isn't sufficient water for this season. In this backdrop, the gates of the reservoir were opened and the water was released. The water flows directly to the Kudawaya. There are 3 other locations where water goes to waste.
Director General of the Department of Irrigation, Badra Kamaladasa, said that there is around 44% of water in the Tisa River, the Basava Kulama tank, as well as the Min area and Kaudula reservoirs in Polonnaruwa.
We
received the intermonsoon rain during October and November. However, this time around we received less rain than what we expected. Water scarcity is reported from several districts. The Department of Irrigation is careful when releasing water. If the drought continues, we will have to rethink of releasing water for drinking purposes. We are working together with the farmers because of this situation. We are looking into this so that the programs are implemented properly. The required capacity is not being recorded at reservoirs and tanks. Such a drought situation was reported back in 2003. Later in 2009 and 2010, similar but less serious situations were reported.
The Minister of Agriculture made these comments on the difficulties faced by the farmers due to the drought.
The Ministry of Agriculture and the Department of Agriculture can do nothing against climate change. We expected a much higher rainfall this time around, but we did not. We cannot control the rains. We have informed the farmers to have insurance if they face such a situation. Last time this decision was reached due to floods, but such a situation did not occur back then.
Meanwhile, the Water Supply and Drainage Board says that there is an issue of supplying water continuously to several areas due to the prevalent dry weather. Chairman of the board, Karunal Sena Hettiarachi, speaking to Newsfirst, said that the public needs to use water wisely. Will the dry weather affect the supply of electricity? Newsfirst inquired about the matter from the Ceylon Electricity Board. Deputy General Manager of Business Operations and Strategy at the CEB, Senajit Dasanayaka, said that as the first phase of the Norachule power plant is operational, there will be no need for power cuts. He added that there is a demand of 1,800 megawatts from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. and currently there is stable supply of 3,000 megawatts.
News First at 9.
Now continuing with your primetime news, according to the Department of Meteorology, the low-pressure system that was located to the southeast of Sri Lanka has intensified into a depression and is located around 250 kilometers to the east of Trincomalee. The statement issued by the department added that the coastal areas of the northern and eastern provinces will continue to experience showers and strong winds.
Fishermen from the Ampara area refrained from setting out to sea due to rough seas. Our correspondent said that the bay close to Ampara were reported to be rough. Fishermen from the areas of Kamune, Saindamaradu, Katirev, Oluvil, Adalichaini, Akkarei Pattu and Tirukkovil also refrained from setting out to sea due to the extreme weather conditions. Fishermen in the Batticaloa area also refrained from setting out to sea due to heavy rains experienced in the area today.
Northern and eastern sea areas will be rough and dangerous. There will be showers or thunder showers at times in the northern, north central and eastern provinces. Thunder showers will occur at several places in Sabaragamuwa, central and Uva provinces during the afternoon and night. Fairly heavy rainfalls, about 7 to 5 millimeter, also likely at some places.
Still in local news, the President left the island today for an official tour of Jordan, Israel and the state of Palestine.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa will first visit the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, where he will meet with King Abdullah ibn al-Hussein II and hold discussions. Later, President Rajapaksa will fly to the state of Palestine on a two-day official visit and will meet with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas for bilateral discussions. The President is due to pay tribute to the memorial of late Palestinian President Yasser Arafat. Subsequently, the President will visit Israel on a two-day visit. President Rajapaksa will meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Israeli President Shimon Peres. Western Province Minister Nimal Lansa was today appointed as the Gampaha district organizer of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. President Mahinda Rajapaksa presented the appointment letter to Nimal Lansa at the Bandaranaike International Airport prior to his departure.
A fire broke out at a steel goods shop in the Thalangama area this afternoon.
According to the Kotte Fire and Rescue Service, the blaze had erupted at around 3:35 p.m. Firefighting units from Colombo and the Dehiwala Mount Lavinia Fire and Rescue Departments also aided in dousing the fire. 2 fire engines were dispatched from both the Kotte and Colombo Fire and Rescue units. Investigations have commenced to ascertain the cause of the fire. I saw the fire erupt from over that roof while I was working here. When I went to take a look, I saw the owner of the shop which was on fire. The shop had a lot of gas cylinders. I saw the owner trying to move the oxygen cylinders and I saw he had burn injuries. They say there must have been a gas leak that resulted in this fire.
The body of a woman which was floating in the seas of Gore-Face Green was brought ashore this evening.
A Newsfirst report captured this footage when the lifeless corpse was brought ashore at around 1:30 this afternoon. Individuals in the vicinity attempted to revive the woman. According to the police, the woman died this evening despite being admitted to the National Hospital. A police investigation is underway to identify the victim and determine the cause of death. Meanwhile, another body was found floating in the Kalani River in Totolange area in Colombo this morning. Our correspondent said that the victim was between 30 to 35 years of age. The Grand Pass police is conducting an investigation into the death.
A soldier was killed and 7 others were injured when a Sri Lanka Navy SUV collided with a Rajarata Rajina train during the early hours of today. The Department of Railways says that the SUV had attempted to cross the level crossing when the tracks were closed, resulting in the accident.
The Rajarata Rajina train departed from Vavuniya and was heading towards Anuradhapura. Its final destination was Mathura. The accident occurred at around 4:20 a.m. when the train was travelling across Hatharaswila railway crossing in close proximity to the Jaffna junction on the Anuradhapura-Vavuniya main road. The Rajarata Rajina train travels from Vavuniya to Anuradhapura with just 2 train compartments. The train is attached to its remaining carriages at the Anuradhapura railway station before it begins its journey to Mathura. The SUV had collided with the second compartment of the train heading towards Anuradhapura.
The gate was closed and the train passed this location. Then I heard a loud noise. When I looked, I saw that a vehicle had collided with the train.
The ill-fated SUV was travelling from Poonava Naval Base in Vavuniya, carrying 9 persons including soldiers and civilians. The injured were admitted to the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital. Our correspondent notes that 1 person succumbed to his injuries while 4 soldiers and 3 civilians are continuing to receive in-house treatment.